Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joining in a collaboration with some crafty friends of mine who on the third Friday of each month are working their way through the templates on page 28 of the annual catalog. Today the sketch is this one right here. So I'm going to create a single page layout using this sketch as my starting off point. And then I will put this in a playlist at the end so you can see what all the other crafty ladies have come up with for this same sketch. Okay, for my photo, I have chosen a portrait style photo instead of a landscape. On the sketch, it was landscape. I'm going to use a portrait style photo. This is a picture of my son and his little family that they took back at Easter. So we're going to see if we can come up with a layout for this photo here. And as soon as I saw all their yellow clothes, I immediately thought of the Floral Delight. I loved this paper pack as soon as I saw it. These colors are just beautiful. It's great for spring. So this picture was actually at the first of spring back at Easter. But you can see all the bright yellows. Then on the back, you do have some softer tones if you don't like quite so many big flowers. The backs have a smaller print, but they are gorgeous and I love them. So we're going to see if we can choose some of these today. We're also going to bring in the woven textures. This has some great paper to accentuate, and I think I may do a frame style layout, which I believe one of these will make a beautiful frame to go around these papers. All right, I went ahead and matted my photo. I made a white mat, and I also matted it on the old olive cardstock. I used the dark side of the old olive, and I've narrowed my papers down. I think these are the two papers I'm going to use on the front side, and I'm going to choose one of these for the frame. And I really think I'm leaning toward the dark. There's what the light would look like. But on the dark, the swing they're setting in is fairly dark, and so I just believe that will match a lot better with the dark. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make a matte of the dark, and then use these yellows for my banners here. So I think that's going to look really good, and that's going to really match up a lot better with that swing that they're setting in. So let me get those papers cut down. All right, I have my papers cut down. I thought I would show you how I cut the dovetails before I did both of them. I went ahead and cut one. Stampin' Up! Does have a set called the Party Dies that will cut banners, a dovetail for you. I will link that below so that you will know what it is. I don't have that set, but I will list it below so that you'll know what it is. But I thought I'd show you how I do banner tails. I've already done this one. For ones this large, I usually fold. I don't smash it down, I just match up my corners. And then I start right on the corner. And you just decide how deep or how shallow you want your dovetail. I didn't do this one very deep, so I'm going to do this one kind of shallow as well. You just start at the corner and cut right up to the center. And then when you open it back up, there's your dovetail, and it should be even on each side. For smaller, when I have a smaller strip, I just find the center. Say you only had one this wide. Just find the center. Just take your scissors and make a little snip right in the center of your strip, and then you cut from each corner up to that strip, and that will make you a dovetail as well. I usually do that when my strips are smaller because it's easier to keep them straight, but when they're this big, I like folding them in half. So then I will stick those right back behind, and I did cut this flowery paper to 4 3/4 by 10. And we took just a little bit off making the dovetail. And then the gingham paper, I cut to 5 1/2 by 9 1/4. And this flowery paper I'm going to have go all the way to the top of our white cardstock. This gingham, I just want to stick out just a little bit and not go all the way. But that makes it just a little bit shorter here than the flowery paper. So we're going to have that set right about there and have our picture set in. Now for our white cardstock, I cut this down to 11 inches square. I just cut an inch off of each edge, and that allows me to have about a 1/2 inch border for our frame. But now I wanted to also show you on our frame, because we don't want to waste all of this paper here, we're going to gut the center out of this. So when I decide how much to cut out, I know I'm going to have a 1/2 inch showing, and I probably want about a 1/2 inch to adhere my paper to. So I'm going to leave an inch around this border. So what you would do is you're going to move your paper out, move it in 1 inch. That's going to leave that inch border. And when you start to cut, you're going to start at the 1 inch mark, which is right here. And then you will cut down to the 11. That will leave an inch more. Then you're going to turn your paper and just do that all the way around each of the sides. Now you can only do this with a rail trimmer. You cannot do this with a guillotine trimmer. It just won't work that way. So you just go around each side, leaving an inch each way. One more side. And if you don't make them match exactly, you can always take your scissors and just snip it in each corner to make it come on out. You can see mine didn't exactly match in each corner, but it's close enough. It looks like it's just going to pop out of there. So there we have our gutted piece. All right, so we have this piece that we gutted out that we can use on another project. So to stick this down, I'm going to match up here. Let me take all this off for a second. We're going to put sticky right around the edge here, and then we will stick the white right on top of it. And that way when you turn it over, you've got all of that gutted out that you can use on a different project. Before we glue these papers down, we're going to edge distress the sides of all the pages in Pecan Pie. So I've just got my Pecan Pie ink and my dauber tool, and we are just going to go right around the edge of this. I didn't want it to be just super dark, that's why I chose Pecan Pie. And we're just going to go right around the edges. This is going to give our paper a little lift off of that white background. It's going to give it an outline, if you would, just so that it doesn't blend in quite so much all the way around that on that white background. So we'll get this inked up, and I will go ahead and ink the others off camera so you don't have to watch all of that. I have everything inked up and adhered down. You can see in my little tray here I've cut some different flowers. Those are from the Delightful Wishes Stampin' Die set that go along with this suite. I've used the Daffodile Delight. This is a 2-part flower. You cut the bottom and the top. The bottom is cut on the light side of Daffodile Delight, and the top is cut from the dark side of Daffodile Delight, and then the little centers are from Early Espresso. So we have some large flowers, some small flowers, and these little flowers I just cut straight out of the white and just used yellow to ink up the centers. Then we made some little leaves to go along with them. So I'm thinking we're going to do an embellishment cluster here and one here, and then we may put our title here. I'm not sure if we'll put it here or right under this cluster. Once we get these clusters built, then we'll see which one looks best. Now this collection also has, you'll notice in the flowers, the orangey color. That is peach pie. So I have gone in from Spotlight on Nature and cut a couple circles. My paper was a little short, but once you tuck those in, you won't even be able to tell. And we're going to use these to build our clusters so that these yellow flowers will pop off of that. They won't blend in to this. All right, so I'm going to start building on this lower left corner. I'm going to keep that little circle up a little higher so we can see those banner tails that we made. And we're just going to fill this little corner up with some of our flowers that we made. Get it nice and full. You can make it as full or as small as you want. Let's add some of these little small white flowers in, just to kind of give a little separation there of all those big yellow flowers. All right, and I have some little leaves to go around those small flowers. Some over on this side. Maybe another one of these leaves over here. All right, I found this set in my stash. It's the Changing Leaves Stampin' Die set, and it has this leaf and this little sprig that I cut out of a coppery foil paper. I thought that would just add a little bit of bling to these embellishment clusters. So I'm just going to add a few of these around to some different areas of the embellishment cluster, just to add a little shine and sparkle here. All right, let's let that one sit there for a second. Let's build one up here. And we're probably going to pop some of these up on some foam tape, just to give them a little dimension and make so you can tell the where one flower begins and one ends. They're kind of, with them being the same color, they're kind of overlapping there. But we can pop some up on some foam tape, and that'll give them a little separation from each other. So let's get some of these little white flowers in here. And got another little small set of leaves here. All right, let's add in some of our coppery foil leaves to give those some sparkle up here on this corner. All right. I think I like that. I like the bit of sparkle that these add. All right. So I'm going to get these glued down, and then we will work on our title. All right, for our title, I've chosen the Sweet Bloom Stampin' Die set. I'm going to use the word lovely, and I think I'm going to just use that one single word as my title. We're just going to put the word lovely. You can see the die is two pieces. We have one piece that cuts out the fine lines of the word, and then one piece that makes a background. So I've gone ahead and cut those out. I cut one in the peach pie, then I cut the background in white. And we're just going to layer those up, glue them down, and I think I want my title just to go right down here across this corner. And we're just going to use the one word, lovely. I think that makes a great title. This was a lovely Easter picture, so I think that's going to work great. I did also, in that same set, it has the stamp. It says, "You make me smile." And I thought we might stamp out and make it just a word sentiment to go right up here at the top. So we're going to pull that off the carrier sheet, load it up on our block, and I'm going to stamp that in Pecan Pie. Let me see. Scoot this over a little bit. All right, we're just going to ink that up really good in that pecan pie. And then I may stamp it a couple times just to make sure I get a good impression. This is the first time this stamp's been used, so, well, that one came out pretty good. We'll go one more time just to see which one we like the best. All right, and I think they both look good, so let me get this cut out and we'll get these glued down. All right, for my final finishing touch, I'm going to use the Tiny Bee Trinkets. These are little gold bees that work in the same way as your dots would work, and they are so cute. So we're going to put some of these little bees on. I have my little pickup tool here, and we're going to just scatter some of these around the page. I've already put some little drops of glue on there, so I'm just going to attach it to these little drops of glue. I'm going to put one right on the flower. I'm going to put about 3 around each cluster. And they just add the perfect finishing touch to this layout. All right. And I will hold that up so you can see those beautiful little bees. They just shine right up there. This was a lot of fun. This was the first collaboration that I've worked on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And if you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd be glad to help you out. Just search my name when you check out on StampinUp.com. And I will link the playlist that the other ladies have made their videos and put in down in the description box so you can see everyone's take on this sketch. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you next time.